stuff in his face.
Put a whooping on me.
I don't want to put a whooping on you, but I do.
Mind. I do not mind.
But I do want to catch 5.
Well, you're sitting good, so you need to. I really think right here you can catch 5 fish. I ain't lying. Now maybe I can't. But
I think you can catch 5. Is it it's 14 slot, right?
That ain't 14. We ain't living right.
Oh yeah, that's 14 all day long. So
You've been eating those shad.
get a cold tag in him, and
Did that fish fight to you?
he just came up and swallowed it.
But I mean, did he pull pretty good?
Oh yeah, he pulled.
Man, these fish here are stout.
There you are,
That
pretty
one I
stout.
caught yesterday, 3 pounds. I thought it'd go away 9 or 10 pounds. I like never go.
I'm gonna put a gray on him.
I got it.
This fish has been caught before.
Really?
Yeah, he has a hole in his mouth where somebody already put a tag on him. I'm trying not to put a big hole in him. Small one up top. I don't think I've had that happen before. I caught one that had a hole. Hey, my love. I got 4. 6 pounds, maybe. Excuse me. $130.
Ready? Come on up. First thing.
Terrell.
Four.
Swap has checked in. Roger, if you check in, go ahead and grab your bag. And then get them up here to us as quick as you can, please. She's doing it right now. You doing all right?
Pretty good. About yourself?
Yes, sir. Doing well. Again, this is Phoenix Boat Bass Fishing League presented by Teach Marine. Terrell Harmon today on the co-English side, 4 fish, 7-9. 7-9, sir.
It's taking forever. Just get water, come back by the speaker.
Thank you.
Another Posey on our college David. You guys won the Toledo beat. That's right, Toledo. Hold on, now wait. Sorry,
7-9. I did. So my first bait of choice was a wacky rig. This time of year, you cannot beat throwing a wacky rig. It's something that you have to tie on. It just flat out catches fish, guys. Just flat out catches fish. Especially because they're shallow right now. They're either spawning or about to spawn or have already spawned. And they're probably in that 5 to 8 foot range right now. And throwing a wacky rig is a great way to catch fish. So let's talk about like how I have this set up. So I'm throwing this on a 7-to-1 medium heavy spinning rod made by 13 Fishing. And I'm throwing it on a medium because I like to have like a little bit of tip. And so it's kind of stiff, but it also gives me enough feeling for those finicky bites. And it's easy for me to cast with that rod being so soft. So now we're gonna break down my second setup from the tournament down, which I really caught fish on. And that's gonna be just throwing a weightless Senko. And right here I have a 6-inch pumpkin Senko made by Gary Yamamoto. And if you see, well, blooper. Well, if you see right here, I also have a willow leaf spinner on the back, and that's just to add a little flair to it. It's something like I really like throwing on the ends of my Senkos. I feel like it helps me get a few extra bites, especially when the bite is tough. So if that's something that you want to know more about, or and I can talk to you about that. So just leave a comment below, and definitely help you out with that. But I have a 6-inch Senko 2-aught VMC hook. As far as the rod and reel goes, I'm throwing it on a 7-2 medium heavy extra fast rod. And so basically what the extra fast means is I have a soft tip, and so it helps with one, casting, just makes it a little bit more accurate to cast. I can cast further as well, but it helps me like feel the bite better. Because I'm throwing a lighter bait too, so you have to take that into consideration. As far as the line goes, I'm throwing it on 12-pound Seaguard and Vizex line. Right here, you can get it from Bass Pro Academy, but this is pretty much the only line that I buy. I have no issues out of it. It's super smooth, easy to cast. So if you're in the market for some good line, I mean, my personal suggestion is Seaguard and Vizex. But yeah, so basically how I was fishing this bait for the tournament, I would cast it out and just let it sink for about 10 seconds. You know, I want that bait to go all the way to the bottom. And once it gets to the bottom, I'm either gonna drag it or just like give it a few twitches of the rod, let it come up in the water column and then float back down. So whenever you throw this bait, guys, as soon as it hits the water, it starts sinking, but it starts like rocking back and forth. Most of your bites are gonna come on the fall. And so that's why, and it's all in the name itself. It's called a Senko for a reason. So make sure you fish it slow and allow it to just give off that natural motion of sinking. I don't know how else to put it. But like I said, when you throw it out, as soon as it hits the water, it's gonna start sinking, rocking back and forth like this. And that's most of the time when you're gonna get your strikes. So the key thing with fishing this bait is take your time. Like when I was casting this, it probably took me 2-3 minutes to get my bait in sometimes because I'm fishing that slow. So make sure you don't overwork your bait. So for my final setup, guys, I have probably one of my favorite baits. I'm gonna have this tied on every single tournament. Doesn't matter time of year, anything. When I need a bite, I'm gonna go to this. It's my go-to bait. And that is a shaky head. Absolutely love throwing a shaky head. You watch my videos, you'll probably see me throwing a shaky head a lot. And that's because it just flat out catches fish. You know, and there's no point in switching it up if it's working for you. And so with the shaky head, I'm throwing a 1/4 ounce shaky head, and I have this rigged up on a 6-inch Zoom speed worm, and the color is green pumpkin. So for this particular tournament, like how I was working this bait is probably a little bit different from a lot of guys and how they traditionally throw their shaky heads and work their shaky heads. But that's one of the things that I love about fishing. Like, you can make it your own. And so if it's catching you fish, then that's all that matters. But anyway, back to how I was fishing it. So we were fishing grass. So what I would do is I would throw this bait out and I wanted to get it buried in the grass. Typically when you fish a shaky head, I'm gonna put my rod down here. What it looks like is when it hits the bottom, the lure is standing straight up just like that. And so we're fishing grass. And so I threw it and I wanted it buried in the grass. Once it hit bottom, what I would do is I would rip my rod up, so rip it out of the grass, let it flutter up, and this little tail right here is going crazy, and just flutter back down. And repeat that process. And that's how I was generating my strikes. I'm not sure exactly what that does for the fish, but I know for a fact it catches fish. And so this was like one of my go-to setups. I remember there was a point throughout the day where I only had one keeper in the boat. I picked up the shaky head, put 3 keepers in the boat within 30 minutes. So when I need a bite, this is what I go to. This is one of my go-to baits right here. But let's talk about how I have it set up. So like I said, it's a 1/4 ounce shaky head, 6-inch speed worm. I have that on 15-pound fluorocarbon line. And once again, guys, I'm throwing nothing but a Vizex. Super smooth, easy to cast. I never ever break off any fish. So, and the diameter is like super small, which makes it super smooth and easy to cast like all the time. So if you're looking for some good line, InvisX once again. But yeah, 15 pound InvisX. I'm throwing a 7-foot Ducket Ghost rod, and that's medium heavy with a 6:8 to 1 gear ratio reel. And the setup right here for me is like bread and butter. I'm always gonna have it tied on. I can always depend on it. And you know, if there's something that you're interested in learning more about, drop a comment below. I can definitely assist you with that. Any tricks and tips that I may have about it. But this is one of the main components of this past tournament and how I caught my fish. But with that being said, guys, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video. Top 3 baits that I use: Wacky Rig Cinco, Texas Rig Cinco, and a shaky head. These fish are gonna catch you. These things are gonna catch you fish all year long. So thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Fishing with T, out.